again.
Yes, Dream Stories is live in more ways than one. Well,
We're
live
not
is
live.
not. We're quasi live.
We are recording live. I don't think you're supposed to stare into the camera.
I can stare in the camera if I want to.
Okay.
In case you're just listening to us in the normal, everyday way, we are back both with audio and video. So we have the audio podcast and now a new video format at Dream Stories Podcast. I said it like a radio announcer.
You did. It's going to take us a while to get used to this new format.
Oh, it really is.
But it's okay.
It is. But we've got a few things just to share with people as we go through the podcast and talk about some of the new things that are going on. But we want to get right into the idea of talking about dreams again. And so I'm going to kick us off with one of the things that we want people to know about. We mentioned it in our update that I did last week. But we really want people to film themselves a quick segment of a dream that they've had, sharing the dream. But it needs to be not a dream they need interpreted, but a dream that they've already seen fulfilled. Something where it's had impact in their life already, because we're looking for future guests on our show. So,
are they going to appear in person, or are they going to sit here with a chair, or how are we going to do this?
Well, they'll come in on a video screen, and we'll bring them in through Zoom or Skype or one of the various video chat or video conferencing platforms. Bring them in and have them on the show to be recorded live, but it won't be played live.
Okay.
So we'll bring them in that way.
Well, that'll be cool.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
So if people didn't get to see that you did a little 3-minute or so update on what all the new things we're kind of doing. So they can go to that. So they can
go back and check that on the new Instagram page.
Yes, we haven't.
At Dream Stories Podcast on Instagram. Okay. And we're on YouTube. We're going to initially be on the Patria Ministries YouTube page, but migrating that over to a new Dream Stories page. We're working on that. But right now, Patria's page already has all the bells and whistles so that we can get it moved over to a full, YouTube page.
That's awesome.
Yeah, YouTube channel. Yeah. So, and we're still on Facebook, still on all the podcasting sources. So it's good.
Okay, that's awesome.
But we don't have a guest this week because we're just kicking back off. But you had an awesome dream, and I have been feeling in my body the effects of that dream.
Know. I mean, I want to apologize for it, but I can't. If we believe that dreams come from our Creator, I can't apologize for it.
No,
I'll be glad to share it.
You could apologize for what it's done to me, but...
Well, I mean, it's just interesting what it's done. I mean, I have dreams all the time. We talk about this all the time on the podcast. But this was like right before I woke up, and so it was so fresh in my memory. And I felt like it had meaning, and so I shared it.
It's appropriate we would start the new launch and the video launch of the podcast with a dream from you, because you have so many. We don't really need guests.
No, that's not true, because sometimes I don't. I'm only remembering bits and pieces, but I did remember this one very well.
It's true, and we do need guests, not to.
Yes,
so we
want that. It'll bring some fresh life into.
It's true.
Into
I just had to aggravate you. So
yeah, that's okay.
Go ahead.
So this dream was, I was in this room, and you were there, and there were several other people there, and this person called me on the phone and said the delivery's on its way. We have everything packed into the truck, and it's on its way. And I said, "What's coming?" They said, "It's coming to your house." And I said, "What though?" And they said the antique doors, the doors are coming to your house. And I said, and I have doors that we actually have that are antique, that are, something that you and I have been working on. We've stripped them, put them in our new build and everything. So I knew those were the doors they were talking about. And I said, "Well, those doors are not supposed to come here to the house. We're storing those somewhere." And they said, "Well, it's too late. They're on their way. They're coming."
Yeah.
And I went to you and I said, "Michael, the doors are coming." And you said, "Where?" I said, "Here." And you said, "They're not supposed to come here. I'm not ready for them yet." And I said, "Well, they're coming." And so that was the end of the dream. And when I woke up from that dream, I thought, oh, that's something. And I came to you and I said, "Michael, I had this dream. I want to share it with you real quick. I think it has meaning." And I said, "What do you think it means?" And you said...
Well, there wasn't any question what it meant. Right. That was right off the top of my head. I could tell you what that dream meant. I mean, and just for the sake of everybody listening, that dream is pretty clear. Doors of opportunity are coming. And even if you don't feel ready for them, they're still coming.
Mm-hmm. You know what else?
What?
It's doors your wife would love.
Well, that's true.
And it's doors that might irritate you.
It's true. And
be work for you.
Which is, again, definitely true. We haven't even gotten to the application of the dream yet. But when we do get to the application of the dream, folks are going to really realize that it really is, that really is exactly right.
But before we get there, though, it can have a twofold meaning.
Oh, sure.
And we can get to that, too.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things we talk about, as part of the podcast is sort of helping people understand dreams, not just interpreting them and talking about the story alone. And that is the idea that most dreams, in fact, have more than one meaning or more than one application. God's just big that way. Our Creator is capable of telling more than one story with the same set of words.
Right.
So He's certainly capable of giving us more than one application to a dream. Mm-hmm. The key to it is to understand what is the correct meaning, what's the correct interpretation for that moment in time and for the person who had the dream at that moment. So in this case, we had a direct application for the dream, and it can have future application as well. So there's the immediate interpretation and application and the potential interpretation and application. And the difference between the interpretation and the application, I don't know that the interpretation changes. It's the fact that the application could change. Yeah. And in this particular dream, it's really, in a sense, it's actually in the dream that it will change. Mm-hmm. Because it was more than one door.
Yeah, that's
true. So there's not just a door of opportunity is coming, but doors of opportunity are coming. And unfortunately for me, that could mean that the same application repeats over and over several times, or it could be that there will be different doors of opportunity, all of which apparently I'm not ready for.
I'm sorry. That's why I said I wanted to apologize to you, because I know, it's interesting because I pull into my interpretation all the things that I've learned throughout my walk with God. And I think about some of the things I've learned through some other tools where it talks about things that you judge really harshly or that you have pain from in the past. Mm-hmm. You don't really want to move into in the future. You try to avoid, I guess, either repeating the pain you had or the struggles you had or hardships you had. And you have shared with me, you want to just get into what the interpretation is?
Yeah, we can go ahead, because I think it'll be easier then to talk about those aspects of the dream if people know how it almost immediately. And that's another cool thing. This dream came to pass almost immediately.
Oh, it was
actually literally the wheels were already spinning for it as you had the dream.
Yeah, but maybe your light hadn't quite gone off fully at that moment. I don't know that it's still fully gone off. And we don't even know. We won't even try to define exactly what it looks like. We'll just walk it out and see what happens, right?
That's right.
But I was just thinking how when you were younger, I mean, I love taking old things and turning them into something that has value, or maybe things that haven't had value for a long time. And sometimes it's more work and effort and it's not been profitable for me in a financial way. I mean,
but it gave you pleasure, and
I gained a lot of pleasure from it. But
you actually ran a shop, a little booth in an antique mall or in a flea mall type thing.
Yes.
And where you repurposed it.
And I love shabby chic, or I have some other design styles I like too that I like mixing them in there. So anyway, I had this booth, and I would find pieces of furniture and find them on the side of the road, and I'd be like, Michael, stop, I'm going to take that piece of furniture, and I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to make it chippy, and then I'll sell it. And I did, and I didn't lose.
That was the worst. Stop and pick up this garbage.
Yeah, I wasn't dumpster diving, but it was pretty close, and I would have had there been dumpsters near me that I could have dove in, but I would make my kids stop, and I would even get home sometimes because I would be in a small car, and I would tell tell my children, go get in the truck about 2 blocks down the road on the left side in front of the little white house. There's, this TV stand, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it into something. And that's driven my family crazy, and I realize that. But when you were younger, you lived through renovations of old homes, which is one of the things I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to flip a house. I've wanted to, I wanted to
And I have not.
You,
because
with a passion, have said, I have no desire to do that. I lived through that.
Well, my dad and mom in Walnut Grove, Alabama. For those of you old enough to remember, Walnut Grove was the Ingalls' home place, but it wasn't Walnut Grove, Alabama. Walnut Grove, Alabama was about as small, or even maybe smaller than where the Ingalls lived. In what was the name of that show? Oh, shoot,
the Waltons
the Ingalls were on Little House on the Prairie. Is that what it was?
Was that Walnut Grove?
Yeah, I think it was.
I was thinking it was the Waltons.
No, that's good night, John Boy. No. They lived on Walton Mountain.
Okay. Yeah, true.
That's right. So anyway, we're sidetracked here.
Sorry.
My folks moved to a little town called Walnut Grove and bought what at the time was a 100-year-old house. It's probably 140 years old.
Pause. Is this the place where you used to eat at the truck stop?
I did.
Okay, continue on.
Just down the road.
What was it that you said the other day?
Scruggs Truck Stop.
I said.
Some of the people listening to this podcast may actually remember Scruggs Truck Stop.
They may. But we have a new big store that's going to be down the street.
Oh, Bucky's Truck
Stop, which is supposed to be a really nice truck stop. I mean, I don't know if people get into this or not. We're just being real. But I said, I bet they'll have some good food there because it's supposed to be a high-end truck stop. Yeah. Like they sell really nice clothes like Vineyard Vines, stuff like that. It's like, okay, not your traditional truck stop. And I said, I bet they'll have some good food. And you said, yeah, we can go there. I used to eat at the truck stop all the time when I was little. I was like, what? And you said, and what did you say? You said something really unique. You said, I was born eating at a truck stop, and I'll die eating at a truck stop. I'm like, really, that. Michael? Okay.
Well, so anyway,
okay, sorry.
They bought a 100-year-old house,
right.
And it had this brick on the outside, except it wasn't brick, it was wood. And they had cut grooves in the little strips of wood, and so you painted the whole house red, and then you went back with a toothbrush and painted the little cutout places, like the mortar joints, white. And the house really did look like it was brick, but it was wood.
Now, people did do that.
They did that,
Even like if you go to Mount Vernon, George Washington's family did the same thing to make it look like the house was made out of stone.
It made it look.
But anyway, go ahead.
So that was the smallest of the renovations that had to happen. We just covered most of that stuff up.
Right.
But, I mean, I spent years, the entire time we lived in that house, renovating it. I don't think my dad ever finished.
Right.
And I was scarred.
And you said, I don't ever want to I don't want to do hardwood floors. I don't want to redo kitchens. I don't want to.
Now, people can already guess now the door of opportunity that
exactly.
opens. So.
But you know what? I mean, we do see favor. Every time we've ever purchased a property, we've done, I'm going to say every time.
Every time we've purchased a property, I've had to do work on
an older property.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Yeah. We've done okay on, you know. I mean, we've had the housing boom in 2008. Didn't do so well. And it's not something we try to do. It's just, we just see sometimes favor on us being able to help something get sold that maybe couldn't otherwise get sold.
Right. So. And during the time we were building this house that the new studio's in, and we were living with our son Caleb in his old house, squeezed in together into that old house. And he had owned the house for 5 years, planning to renovate it and flip it. But somehow the 6 months we lived there,
it was the last 6 months that most everything got done.
Right, became the time to actually do it. And I think that I ended up being the one doing, I put in plumbing. I did
careful.
all this. No, he did a ton. I'm not.
No, I'm talking about me. I did a lot too.
I don't mind if you think you didn't do anything.
No, I did a lot. What are you talking about?
I know.
I stayed up till 4 in the morning many times. But anyway.
We both did.
Yeah.
And he actually did really well. He flipped the house. And when he did, the door came open literally and figuratively and metaphorically, to buy another house.
Yeah. So these are doors that we're not knocking down, trying to walk through.
No, literally, our real estate agent comes to us and says, you guys should really look at the house of the person who bought his house because she knew you had always been interested in flipping a house.
And I mentioned it to you. You
and
said,
you know what I said?
No.
I said, absolutely not.
I mentioned it to my son. He said, no.
No. And in the midst of the no's, we started coming around, sort of, to
She said,
yes.
just come look at the house.
Right.
I sent an accidental text message to my son, said, would you like to go look at 10 today? We'll just go look and we'll be done.
Which, of course, he had the money to buy the house.
He looked and he said, yeah, I think I'll go. And I was like, oh, I didn't mean to send that to him. I meant to send that to you. Yeah. And then later he said, oh, you didn't want me to be involved, Mom? I said, no, I'm fine with you being involved. So anyway, it turns out.
Well, we couldn't do it if he wasn't involved.
Yeah, or it'd have been hard. Yeah. But anyway, so it's we're doing something. So
in the middle of these no's, we start turning around to warming up. Caleb says, hey, I think I will buy the house. Will you help me flip it, Mom? Will you help me do the renovations? Mm-hmm. And you asked me, would I be okay with that? And what was my answer? You
said, I will be okay with it, but I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Nothing. I don't want to have anything to do with it.
And you said, you're doing everything. I said, I'm fine with that. I'll hire contractors. I'm fine with that. How long did that last?
Well, till your dream.
No. You were already stepping into it.
Well, I had to agree to do one thing. Or maybe not embracing it.
Okay, yeah. Okay. You're right.
So I agreed to do one thing. So now I'm putting up doors.
You know what's funny is there's really even metaphor even in that, because I drug you to
kicking and screaming.
No, I drug you to a little place way out in East Alabama. I mean, like on the border, state line, of Georgia, to find some antique doors. And we were digging them out from under termites.
I was shocked there weren't things that ran out or slithered out onto me.
Well, they probably did. We just didn't notice it. But
ran out the other direction, hopefully. Yeah.
I mean, they had just been stored there so long and had so many antique doors there. This was what was left. It wasn't that it was a bad place or anything. It was a really nice little place. But it was just the remnants that were left. And we bought them, and they're actually in our home. Yep. We might put a little picture on there of what you've done to the doors. They look beautiful. But
see, that was metaphorical too. That's an interesting thing to talk about with dreams. Sometimes dreams, in fact, a lot of times dreams are either the initial indication of something that your Creator is saying to you, or they will be the confirmation of something. So if they're the initial indicator, often other confirmation will come.
Right.
And if they are the confirmation, there's been something that's already pointed you in that direction.
Right.
And in this case, we found antique doors at an amazing price. I mean, they're $1,200 doors, probably. I think a piece, maybe.
That would probably be their starting price if I put them on.
We bought 6 of them.
Yeah.
For like $400.
Yeah.
And we renovated them. And we clean them up and have them up in the new house as a set of barn doors for. And
you're proud of those barn doors.
I am proud of those barn doors. I put them up myself. The builder didn't do it.
So to me, that's what I was saying. Even metaphorically speaking, God used something that you do have a love for, maybe not fully, and you wouldn't want to go out with me right now and just sit there and chip away at them and see what's underneath them.
No, but I like doing
you like coming in and out and seeing, playing a little bit, and then getting back out of it. But God used something to speak to you about. There's doors coming, opportunity coming, something opening up. And it may not be something you want. It may not be the right timing, and it may not be in the place that you want it to be in. And the natural literal erection of the barn doors in the room in the house here where we are now, they are barn doors. That means they slide open, a big opening.
a wide opening. And so for me, that comes back as a confirmation of the dream, that there was already a situation in which something I didn't really want to do, because if you remember, I didn't want to refurbish those doors.
No, I remember.
But I got into it
You did.
once you were, and part of that is because I enjoy being a part of things you're doing. Even though I don't want to renovate a house, or I don't want to renovate
Dad.
doors, I like being part of what you're doing.
I didn't know that.
I do. That's why
Okay.
sometimes I like being part just because I want to be a part of what you're doing, but I don't like what we're doing.
That's weird.
Just
'cause
being honest.
Please don't take this wrong. I don't want to do what you're doing
Well,
all the time. I love you.
I'm not going to take it wrong. I've known that for a long time. So
No, I mean I love doing this with you. This is fun. I do enjoy this. But some things that you want me to do, I don't necessarily want to do, and I think that's true.
not everything. I mean, it's not everything, but I do like doing things. And so I got into helping you clean up the doors.
Right.
Of course, then I wanted the easy way out, so I wanted to take them to have them sandblasted to clean off all the old paint off of them. And it was, you have to admit, much better to let somebody else do the hard part of it. Then I got to have the fun of putting them up.
Yeah.
And connecting them to the wall and building the rail system and everything from the go on. So that brings back a confirmation to me. The doors that were coming, and see, when you told me that dream, in your mind, you said in the dream that it was doors that were coming. In the dream, it was not antique doors. But when you were sharing the dream with me, you were already thinking and talking about it like they were antique doors because of those particular doors,
No,
right?
I knew it was those doors coming.
Oh, you knew it was those doors?
I knew it was those doors coming.
Okay.
And that's what was frustrating for you. You did not want them here. You were like, where are we going to put them?
It's going to be a lot of work. Well, but
where are we going to put them?
That's another great metaphor in the dream, because those doors were a lot of work. Now, the end product was worth it. Mm-hmm. But the doors, getting them ready was a lot of work.
And we still have the other 2 sets, or is it 3?
It's
whatever,
2 more sets, and they're
here.
not even close to being ready for anything
they're
to be
not.
done.
They're not. But we're having to store them. They're big and heavy. I mean, they're like 9-foot doors, doubled French doors. So they're heavy.
Yeah,
not
they're
easy to mess with.
Old full wood doors, and they're tough. So that's exactly what we found ourselves getting into. We start this house flip, which has tremendous opportunity for us. Our son has been so gracious to us, that door of opportunity opening, in that he bought the house and said, hey, let's do this together, even though he put up all the money to buy the house. We could not have done that.
Right.
So God literally delivered something to us that we had no capacity to do ourselves, delivers it to us, and it does come at a time that's not opportune. We're in the holidays. We just finished building a house.
That's an understatement.
We're getting the podcast started back up. We've just set up studio. We're doing all kinds of recording things. All these things, nothing about it makes...
Not to mention building this house.
Right.
Just having, sold another house. Prior to that, having sold another house. Prior to that, having sold another piece of property. I mean, it's just been one thing after another. It was not a convenient time for us to step into this. And it's like the end of the year. It's like December.
I know.
It's not an easy
But
time.
when you look at it, when you look at what's taken place, it has been a huge door of opportunity. Yeah. There is the potential. We don't know how this will completely end. We just know that the doors arrived. And that's all the dream said.
Yeah.
The dream didn't say what the opportunity would result in.
Right.
It just said there is opportunity, a door of opportunity coming. And it came. Yeah. And we stepped through it. Partially because it just opened up for us, and partially because of the dream that said it was about to open up for us. And now we're in the midst of renovating this house, and I am doing a lot of the physical work on it.
You are.
And
probably more so than anybody else right now
yeah.
in it. We have some other contractors coming in and helping, but you've been working very hard. But I think it's interesting. God uses language that we understand and that will help us to get the message, what he's trying to speak to us. So
he does. It's amazing.
It really is.
And we're on film, and I have a serious
leg cramp. Well, stand up if you can.
So
can you stand up if you need to?
Cut the scene to Lisa and let her talk while I stand up.
Well, thankfully, we have someone here that's hearing all this, and they are our good son who's helping us with our recording.
Yes, our producer.
He is our producer.
And editor.
Yeah. So
does a great job. Noah French. He's doing a great job. He's a lot of the creative heart behind the changes people are going to be seeing and are seeing. Yeah. He's the one that insisted on going to more social media platforms, YouTube and Instagram and those new things that are out there.
Well, it's one of the reasons why it took us so long to get back to recording. We knew we needed a shift, a change, something from the way we had been doing things. And thankfully, we have him and we have a team really of advisors that he has, other people who he works with who are giving us suggestions and saying, hey, you really need to be doing this and that sort of thing. So we appreciate our loyal podcast listeners who have been patient with us and beginning to, or just having that time, the month and a half that we've taken off and not put anything on.
Which honestly has been really good for us because it gave us fresh perspective. It gave us an opportunity to be refreshed.
Yeah.
And it actually opened up a group of young men who have taken an interest in helping us. It's not just Noah, it's several others who have taken an interest in helping us to make this even better. So that kind of brings us to a transition to mention something about the contest we're doing right now. For the month of December, we're going to be giving away
made some applause. The contest.
Yeah. So Noah would have said, why did you use the sound effects now?
Okay.
The contest we're doing for the month of December, which is to give away signed copies of Dream Stories, the book, Dream Stories, Understanding Your Night Parables. And we're going to be giving those away the first week of January. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a late Christmas present for the winners. But what we want to do is have people go out and like our Instagram posts. In particular, we in our update announcement, we said go out and like the update video. But we found out there's some complications with videos that are longer than 60 seconds on Instagram, so we lost a lot of those likes. So if you were liking that initial Instagram video, be sure and go back and do what I'm about to say now. We're going to try and pull all those likes off so that people will still be entered in the contest, but we had a little bit of trouble with it. Only had 3 or 4, I think, that we might lose in the process. We got those names, so I think we have them recovered. But what we want you to do now is we're going to put up a specific post that says like this post on Instagram, a still image. Makes it much easier for us to track everything to go better. So we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
And we want you to go out and like that post. It will actually, in the picture itself, say this is the post. I don't know how to say it exactly, but it'll say this is the post you need to like in order to be entered into the contest. So but it'll say something that makes it clear. So that should be up by the time this podcast airs. And we want you to do that, please, because that helps us to gain just like we don't want folks to just like that one post, but we want them to follow us on Instagram as well. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook. I know that those are cliche things nowadays. Everybody's saying follow, like, subscribe. But those really are important for us in order to keep the podcast up and running. Those statistics really do make a difference.
Yeah,
so we would really appreciate it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good to have change. It's hard. I was worrying about what do I do? How do I look? What people actually get to see me now. If I want to make an ugly face at you, I can't hide it anymore. I used to, I could be like, don't do that. Don't say that.
Well,
now,
you also occasionally came and recorded in your pajamas.
Yes, I did.
And sometimes we recorded at 2 and 3 in the morning. Or
let me just say this:
we'll have a pajama.
I'm okay with having a pajama episode. Thank you. Let me just say, look, I threw on this thing tonight, and I have a shirt on underneath here. Thankfully,
yes,
that didn't sound good, but anyway, I have a shirt on that has a big blob of Milo sauce just going right down the middle of it.
For those of you in parts of the world that don't have Milos, it's worth
like,
having Milo sauce on your shirt.
It's like brown sauce in the UK. Is that what it's called? The brown ketchup-y kind of stuff?
You know something else I just realized?
What?
I can't do my hand signals to you to tell you, hey, we don't have much time left. Stop talking.
So you just say it like that? That was a little passive aggressive. Maybe you should just come out
I'm
and
sorry.
say,
I was really just thinking
just
about
do
it.
it, and everybody can know. This is not. It's fine. Okay.
I'm sorry. It is like brown sauce, though.
Keep on dreaming.
Are we over?
Yeah.
All right. Till next time, keep dreaming.